The equation of a linear function can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope-intercept form. The symbol m represents the slope, and the symbol b represents the y-intercept of the graph of the line. The equation of all but one type of line can be written in this form. Which type of line cannot? That would be the vertical line, because it is x equals a number. So for each of the following equations, find the slope. Well, since we have y equals, we can say this is the slope, which is 3. We don't have y equals, so we have to divide everything by a -1, and that gives us y, +2, and a -5x. The slope is what's in front of x, so this would be -5. Here, our slope, we first have to get y by itself. So we're going to add 2x to both sides of the equation, which gives us 3y equals 2x plus 12 divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So we get y equals 2/3x plus 4. The slope is what's in front of x. So 2/3. So if this part confuses you, watch it a couple times, and if you still don't understand it, ask me in class. All right. 17 and 18. It says find the slope. So we can pick 2 points and find the slope. I'm going to pick this one and this one. So I'm going to use this as x2, y2, and this is x1, y1. So y2 would be 350 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's 250 over 5, which is, I believe, 50. So my slope is 50. Which would be 50 over 1. So what that means is my salary, that's why, salary increases, because it's positive, $50 for one, or for each, X stands for products, product sold. Find the slope. We'll use these two. 480 minus 0 over 6 minus 0, which is 480 over 6, which is 80. Yes, that's correct. So the slope is 80, or 80 over 1. So the total tuition, increase, because it's positive, $80 for 1 credit hour, or for each credit hour. Find the slope. So 2 points. Oh, it doesn't matter which two you use. I'm going to use these two. Y, this is x. So find the slope. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 3 minus 2.5 is 0.5. 30 minus 25 is 5. 0.5 divided by 5 is 0.1. Math enter. That gives us 1 over 10. So for every inch of rain, for each or 1 inch of rain, equals or is the same as 10 inches of snow. Alright, parallel lines. If we have parallel lines, they look like this. Parallel lines never touch or cross. I'm going to take that back. Parallel lines never cross. They can touch because they could be the same line. Two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines intersect at a right angle. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. And I'll explain that further in just a second. So here, slopes of perpendicular lines. If we have 5/3 perpendicular, we have to change the sign, so it's going to be negative, and you flip the fraction, so 3/5. If I have 1/2, we're going to change the sign, flip the fraction. Change the sign, flip the fraction. So make this a fraction, change the sign so it's going to be positive, and flip the fraction. And slope of a perpendicular that is 0 would have to be up like this, so its slope would be undefined. If this doesn't, if you don't get this, watch it a couple times. It's really just something you have to do more than understand. But the best thing to think of is change the sign, flip the fraction. Ask me in class if you need help. Alright, so here, determine whether each line is parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Well, we know that parallel lines will have the same slope. Perpendiculars will have opposite signs and flip-flop fractions. And if it's not one of those, then it's neither parallel or perpendicular. So here we look. Here's my slope in front of x, in front of x. They're the same, so these lines are parallel. Here's y equals, so this has a slope of 3. This is not y equals, so we're going to make it y equals. So we're going to minus x and minus x. which gives us negative 3y equals negative x minus 6. Divide by negative 3. We get y equals 1 over 3 x plus 2. So we look here. One slope is 3, and one slope is 1/3. So they are flip-flop fractions, but they are not opposite signs. So it would be neither. So here we look at this one. Neither one are solved for y. So we're going to solve this one for y. 3x plus y equals 5. So we're going to minus 3x minus 3x, which gives us y equals negative 3x plus 5. So this slope is negative 3. This one, let's solve it for y. I'm going to add x and add x. There's 3y. That gives us x plus 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So we get y equals 1 over 3x plus 2. So this slope is 1 over 3. So this would be 3 over 1. So we have flip-flop fractions, and we have opposite signs. So these two would be perpendicular. So sometimes it helps to rewatch it again. If not, ask me questions in class. I'm going to try and finish this up. I've got less than 2 minutes. And we have 2 problems. So the following graph shows the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit after X hours of sundown. What does the mark between 0 and 65 on the y-axis mean? That's a break saying that we're just cutting off part of the data, just making the graph smaller. Label the axes to show what the x and y values are keeping track of. So here's the x-axis, and it's hours after sundown. I'm going to say SD for sundown. The y-axis is degrees Fahrenheit. So it's the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Find the slope of the line. Here's a good point. Here's a good point. So I need to draw my triangle. These are going up by 5s. So that would be 5, 10. These are going by 1s. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's negative 5. Rise over run. So my slope is negative 2 over 1. Write a sentence using the slope as a rate of change. So my slope is going to be the temperature falls 2 degrees every hour. The temperature falls, because it's negative, it decreases 2 degrees every 1 hour after sundown. So this is the end of the video. I will do 22 in class.